What's up everyone, this is Lye Yosh. Welcome back to Life Study Library. In this video, we're going to be talking about givers and takers. In pretty much any social setting, whether that's a business scenario or more of a personal interaction, people can be categorized into a few types. Firstly, we have the givers, the type of people who consistently give to others. So from simple stuff like a helping hand to a listening ear, to more complex stuff like recommendations to others or giving advices. Generally, the type of people who others know them as someone who always listens to them when you have issues and helps you out. And then there are the takers, the problematic type of people when interacting, because they're always thinking of how to gain from others as much as possible without offering something themselves. Whether it's in the workplace, romantic or platonic relationship, or any other social interactions, they try really hard to take something from you and those around them. And then there are the matchers, the third category of the group. Basically, this is about you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, and vice versa. Generally, the majority of people fall into this category, the most common breed of people out there. So, for example, so you helped me once before, so I'll help you once. They don't usually give or take just for the sake of it. They generally try to keep it balanced and even. And listening to this description, what did you think about each category of people? I'm going to take a guess here and say that when you heard the description of givers, a part of you thought, whoa, what a bad way to operate. I'm going to avoid being the giver. Did you associate the givers with the nice guys? People who try to assert their values by being nice to everyone, but because they don't have a clear boundary or a core set of values, they deprive themselves by consistently giving things to others, and in return receiving nothing, and end up being used and kicked around. And unsurprisingly, these nice guys, they do stay at the bottom of the social hierarchy, or the business hierarchy, or the whatever hierarchy you want to think of. They become the pushovers. And this does make sense. If you're consistently providing and helping others all the time, you're not going to have time nor energy for yourself to work on whatever you're doing and climb up the so-called success ladder. And then here's the guiding question. If the givers are at the bottom of the success hierarchy, then who's at the top? Takers or matchers? The surprising answer is that the top is also placed by the givers. Givers actually place both at the bottom and at the top of the social success ladder, whereas takers and matchers usually lay somewhere in the middle. This is evident in many areas like the test scores for medical students. Students who are determined to be givers are placed at the bottom and at the top threshold of the test score. And this can also be seen in the field of sales, so the majority of the very bottom and the top position are filled with givers. And when the researchers measured the sample's big 5 personality traits, one of the category that makes up the human personality called agreeableness. This pretty much determines how much of a rebel you are, or how much you value stuff like the opinions of others, or the general rule, or morale. How much trust you have in other people, and whether you are cooperative or not. The research showed that the givers tend to score high in the agreeableness section. Pretty self-explanatory. So this shows that givers overall share a sense of altruism. They value the happiness of others, or at least that's what we all think. It seems that givers can be divided into 2 sections, whether they are successful or unsuccessful, and the successful givers are not necessarily altruistic nor nice, and they are as ambitious as takers and matchers. And that leaves you to wonder, what differentiates between a successful and an unsuccessful giver? You are currently listening to Life Study Library, where your host, Lye Yosh, talks about these interesting scientific and psychological information by implementing data from scientific studies. So if this interests you at all, and if you want to watch more of my past and my future content, make sure to subscribe to my channel. That'll honestly make me very happy that you did that. Alright, let's continue with the video. So let's get right into it. What's the difference between a successful giver and an unsuccessful giver? I'm going to explain this by using an example where you and another person starts a business and gains 10K. In this scenario, the unsuccessful givers, according to the description, will say something like, oh, you can have $8,000. I'm fine with just having 2K, which results to them being the nice guys, doing the same amount of work as the other person, but gets less reward. And if the other person is a taker, your effort will be drained because they're going to try to get as much as they can, and you might even end up with no money at all. And if you're the matcher, it's pretty obvious. You get 5K and I'll get 5K because they want an equal share of the prize. And if you're the taker, you might say something like, well, you get 2K and I'll get 8K because I'm better and I deserve more than you. Or something like that, I don't know. And finally, the successful givers, get this, will say something along the lines of, although we received 10K total, I want to find a way to increase the total amount. So let's try doing that. And after they increase their money to 30K, they'll take 10K and let the other person take 20K. Rather than taking a specific portion of the pie you initially received, successful givers think of ways to increase the total size of the pie so that they can have a greater amount of reward than when they initially received, but but can still have the room to give more to other people. So what this means is that unsuccessful givers will pull the short straw and let everyone else win, but successful givers, they still give to others more than they receive, but they focus on increasing the total size of the prize so that they can still give to others, but will receive enough reward themselves so that they win as well and won't have to struggle. Adding on with this, successful givers have an advantage over takers or matchers, which is that they come out of the deal without making any enemies. If you think about it, a taker wants to take more from the other person than they would want to give. So this obviously won't do a whole lot of good with the relationship. The other person who got stuff taken away will never want to make a deal with that taker again. As for matchers, although they try to go for 50-50, there's still a chance the other person won't agree with the reward distribution. They might think that it's unfair since they contributed more to the deal, so they should get more. But if you're the successful giver, not only do you increase the pie and get more for yourself, you can also satisfy the opponent by giving them the greater portion of the reward, which makes them feel happy and makes them feel that their effort was valued, and because they got more than you, the opponent will not have any complaints. This makes them want to make a deal with you again in the future, thus allowing for a long-lasting relationship. They might even help you in other areas just because they genuinely want to see you win. You have the least chance of making enemies and the best chance of making friends and allies. This is what it means to be a successful giver. And that pretty much sums up the entirety of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And although it's easy to assume that the society is a dog-eat-dog world, where the moment you become a giver, you instantly become a doormat, the only reason this seems to be the case is because people have it all wrong about how to correctly give to others. Simply put, the unsuccessful givers give to others by self-sacrifice, while the successful givers also give to others, but they focus on increasing the reward so that they have enough for themselves as well. So the next business negotiation or anything of that sort, definitely become a giver if you're not already. That'll get you the least chance of being stabbed in the back. But also focus on increasing the result. For example, if you and your opponent initially got 10, try to increase to like 30 or something, and then give the other person 20, so that you can end up with a 10, which you would have initially had to divide with the opponent. And that's pretty much it from me. The only thing I have left for you is a book recommendation, which is Give and Take, A Revolutionary Approach to Success by Adam Grant. It has pretty much everything I said in this video, but in more detail. So if you want to learn more about it, and I suggest you give it a read. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so you can support me. And I think I have all my social media down in the description. So if you want to follow that, go for it. And you can also help me by telling me what kind of topic you want me to talk about in the next video. I'm open for suggestions, a lot of suggestions actually. And lastly, again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can watch my future and my past content. And I'll see you in my other videos. Bye!